from West Yellowstone. Hello, friend. Thank you for pressing play on this episode of the Brassy Broadcast, or as we're calling this little mini-season chronicling our RV adventures, the Brassy Roadcast. I'm Jen Eads, the head broad in charge at the Brassy Broadcasting Company, and a curious girl full of questions. And
I'm Beth Kindig, and I do what the Brassy Broad tells me to do.
And you've been doing a lot of driving, too.
You didn't tell me to do that, but yes, I have.
Can we just talk about where we're recording tonight?
Yes, it's my most favorite place. I don't know what we're going to do when we return it tomorrow.
Elaborate, please.
Oh, you're going to let me elaborate on that? Okay. We're back in the Dodge Chrysler, whatever it is, minivan.
Wait, isn't Dodge Chrysler redundant?
I don't know. What is it, Gary? Gary knows this. My father-in-law and Jen's dad, Gary Eads, is in the back seat of the minivan listening to our broadcast. So Gary knows his cars. What are we in, Gary?
We're in a Dodge Caravan.
Thank you. Thank you for that clarification.
We have a man in the van to tell us what it is.
Me too. And Beth, I want some feedback from you. What do you think of podcasting? How are you enjoying it? Because I have to say, you are getting rave reviews on the Book of Faces.
Am I really? Well, that warms my little heart. I think it's quite fun. And to be perfectly frank and honest, it's a lot more fun than I thought it would be. I mean, you're always very, very good, but I'll admit I was nervous on my maiden voyage with it, but I'm getting much more comfortable now.
You are a natural behind the mic.
You're very kind.
You're very fun to podcast with. So let's tell the people where we went today. We went down to the Grand Tetons, down to Jackson Hole, which was really fun. And we started off a little earlier today since we knew that there would be a lot of driving, which I will let Beth elaborate on shortly. But we left the RV park here in West Yellowstone at about 8 a.m. And as we started driving through Yellowstone, it was like that 2-hour delay, that school 2-hour delay kind of fog that was filling the park. But there were, for what we could see, at least hundreds of buffalo out in the morning, maybe more than that. And, there were a couple that just kind of strolled down the middle of the road, just within a couple feet of the car.
Well, we could have easily reached out the window and touched one, but I think that scared us both, and we decided not to, set them off. And
yeah, touching buffalo would be bad.
Gary told us to. Didn't you tell us to touch one?
I said, go out and rub on one, see what happens.
It's amazing that we're still alive 4 days into this trip.
Based on half the things Gary tells us to do, yes.
But again, another beautiful day in Yellowstone as we drove down to the south entrance to head into the Grand Tetons. And one thing that I want to talk about, we learned a very valuable lesson today, didn't we, Beth?
We did?
Yes. Before you leave home, make sure that you have somebody else on your home alarm system that might actually be able to take the phone call when it comes from the alarm company, because there is little to no cell service in Yellowstone and through the Grand Tetons. Beth, would you like to elaborate?
I would like to. So for those of you following along with the adventure, and we've made Yellowstone sound so attractive that you're going to come here, be prepared to not have cell service probably 80% of the time. So we had a bit of frustration today when I received an alarm alert from Front Point Security that there was a pending alarm, and I didn't have cell service to call them back. We ended up going to like a ranger station, and there was a lodge there. They let me use their landline, thank goodness. Got through to Front Point and got it all taken care of. But the level of frustration that I was at with that particular issue, for many reasons, I was like a level 10.
I was a little scared in the back seat.
Scared of me?
Just scared in general.
Because of my angst with that whole situation?
You were a little angsty.
Okay, well, let's go back to the podcast yesterday where I was, concerned for my dog. So not only is she very sweet and docile, but she also gets freaked out by loud noises. So all I could think about, it was the alarm blaring, and her being upset and the cat doing whatever it is the cat does when she gets upset, and it was bothersome to me. Then there was the real distinct possibility that there was a burglar in our house, which thank God was not the case.
Right. But all is well now, and we have since then added another person that might actually be able to take that call. So I think we can chalk that up to a valuable lesson learned today.
Yes, I would agree.
And big shout out to the lovely man at the front desk at Headwaters Lodge.
Is that what it's called? Because we want to stay there, because he was a very lovely man.
Yeah, so shout out to the lovely man at the front desk at Headwaters Lodge in the Grand Tetons. He was super kind and could tell that we were frustrated and a little freaked out.
A lot freaked out in my case.
Yes, a lot freaked out in Beth's case. Now let's talk about our time in the Tetons. And I just want to shout out our friend Mary Lou, because I mentioned in the last episode that I needed to consult at this. This is twice. I can't say it. A thesaurus. I need to consult a thesaurus, but apparently I don't need to consult it now because I can't say it. So I'm just going to refer to Mary Lou from here on out, because I was trying to find nice words besides stunning and awesome. So Mary Lou so kindly suggested freaking awesome, striking, and jaw-dropping. Oh, Dad, you're heading out. Wait, where are you going? What do you have to do to the RV?
I have to unplug the water hose because it may freeze tonight. And if the water freezes, there'll be no showers and no water.
That would be bad. You skedaddle on out of here and get that taken care of.
Here, I'll get you out. There we go. The minivan has a remote that you can open up every single door on this sucker with the remote.
This is a sweet-ass minivan.
All right.
Bye, Dad. We'll be in shortly.
Now, if Barb comes back from the laundry, we'll grab her too.
Oh, yeah. My phone might go off here shortly because she's supposed to call or text us when she's done with the laundry. God love my mom, because we're sitting here being idiots recording a podcast in a minivan. My dad's doing work on the RV, and my mom, God love her, is doing laundry at the RV park.
But it's not our laundry she's doing. Well, some of yours. I went down and checked on her. She's fine. She's reading her Kindle. I think she's enjoying her alone time. And we all know how important alone time is when you're RVing. Very important.
Yes, it is very important. So we're going to reel it back in and get back to the Tetons. Oh, you guys.
Wow.
Jaw-dropping, striking.
Freaking awesome. That was a Mary Louism. Freaking awesome, I think. Wasn't that one of the ones she told us to use? Incredible. I mean, basically, it was just incredible.
Yes, they're like no mountains I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to explain again just how, like, these were more jagged and rock-like, but and I think a little higher than the ones that were in Yellowstone, but still snow-capped and breathtaking.
Yes, it was all of those things. And we got our stamp for our National Park Passport book.
Nerd alert, nerd alert. We have a passport book for the national parks, and yes, we get stamps, and it's a big thing for us.
Well, it's like now we have a purpose. Now we are on a mission. Beth, do you know how many national parks there are that we need to visit?
Oh, you didn't tell me there'd be a quiz. I know we went to the very first one. God, I suck at history. No, Jen, I don't know how many national parks there are.
There are 58 national parks that we need to visit.
That we have, the 58 total, or 58 that we haven't visited yet?
There are 58 total.
Okay, so how many do we have left to visit? That's the quiz for you.
I haven't counted.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I believe that some of our stamps are in the wrong sections of the country because we ran out of room.
They did not construct that book correctly as far as, how many stamps you need on what sections of the country. I need to speak to someone about that.
Okay, we're going to put that on your list of things to do. Okay, something else that I feel like we need to talk about, because God love Beth. She has been driving and driving and driving. So when you come to Yellowstone, plan it so that you can take a little time to maybe hike some of the trails if you're into that, or just hang out at some of the lodges, just pull off at some of the rest points and scenic outlooks and really take it all in, because I'm exhausted on this trip.
You're exhausted on this trip? Now, you made that sound like I didn't want to do all those things, because I would have loved to have done all those things. That was kind of what I thought was going to happen. But instead, as we mentioned yesterday, minivan, 6 people and 3 dogs for 3 days in a row.
Yes. So we've kind of determined that this is like a scouting trip for us.
Absolutely.
Because we definitely will be coming back. I would love to stay. Well, we've got to stay at Headwaters now, because that looked really cool.
So great. Yeah.
And the lodges and just the places to stay around Old Faithful, like that was really cool.
Even though Old Faithful, as we mentioned, was a little underwhelming. But yeah, the lodge itself, awesome.
Yes. And all of the people out here have been so nice.
Truly. They really have been. Let's take a step back as well. So when you come out here, if you fly and you rent a car, the other thing you need to do is have 2 people on the rental car, because that's why I've been doing all the driving, because I'm the only one registered on the rental car, which is nothing to slam Jen about her driving. We just didn't add her, but there have been portions. I don't know if I said this yesterday. There have been portions of this drive in Yellowstone that reminded me of the road to Hana.
Oh,
and there were no guardrails, and it was a little nerve-wracking when you were on that outside lane. So not only have I been driving, 6 to 8 hours a day, some of the driving has been a little treacherous. No, I knew you wanted me to say it. Okay, so when we were in Hawaii, we were in this like state park thing, and we were going down this trail, and I, for whatever reason, said treacherous trail, blah, like a parrot. And so now whenever we're on a trail and it's a little, dicey, it's treacherous trail. Blah. So driving on the treacherous trail, it's kind of fun to say that, treacherous trail, was nerve-wracking. So it's been, I'm tired of driving. So tomorrow we take the rental car back, and then we'll just be in the RV, and I won't have a safe place to go to. And where will we podcast? But it'll be nice to not be driving all day, because I'm going to make Gary do it. I'm kidding.
Something else that I think that we need to talk about as we're talking about all of this driving is diet while you're out here and planning potty breaks. And Beth, this is your area of expertise, so I am just going to turn it over to you.
I am ashamed to say this is my area of expertise. And for all those listeners out there who might suffer from some gluten intolerance, I want to tell you, don't go off plan when you are on the road, as I have, and eat what everybody else eats, because after 4 days of doing that, let's just say it hit me today. And let's just say it hit me at Jackson Hole, which is, kind of a hoity-toity ritzy place. And you really don't want to have to do the things that I did today in some of these fancy places in Jackson Hole. And ironically, Jackson Hole, I mean, that's, that might have been planned. I don't know, but it was a very rough day. And driving back from Jackson Hole, there were a couple times I thought that I was going to hurl, and I will do anything to not throw up. So I'm glad I didn't. I feel much better now, but stick with your, if you are gluten intolerant, if you can't, eat nuts, if you, whatever the case may be, don't go off plan on vacation, because you're just going to pay for it. And people who come in the restroom after, you're going to pay for it too.
Okay, Beth, and thank you for that color commentary.
Well, I tried to keep it pretty clean as much as I could.
I'm actually impressed. I think you did a fine job with that. Right. I think we need to give a couple of shout outs now, because we have met the loveliest people.
Weren't we going to call shout out something like, we were going to call them something else besides shout outs. We talked about it today. Like a brassy Bravo, I can't remember it. Never mind. I must be making this up, because you're looking at me like I got things growing out of my head.
I kind of remember having this conversation, but there was so much that went on today.
There was a lot of activity today. Lots of activity. mostly in my pants. No, that didn't sound right. I never had that problem. I got that made the bathroom every time. So that didn't come out quite correctly. Please go on.
How much money do you think we've spent on this trip just out of feeling guilty about going into a place to use the bathroom?
Okay, so here's the thing. So when I was still working before I retired and I was on the road a lot, and everybody knows I pee a lot. So I can't go in some place just to use the bathroom and not buy something. So yes, I'll buy a bottle of water when I have 5 in the car, or whatever the case may be. So what'd you buy at that one of those last stops? A ding dong or something? A Hostess? Wasn't it a Hostess ding dong?
About a ding dong and a Coca-Cola.
Like I wasn't already ready to puke anyway, and she comes walking out with that. It was not pretty.
I have not. I've strayed. Let's just leave it at that. I have strayed on this trip.
Yes, you have.
But I have to tell you, while we were in Jackson, I bought a really great cup of coffee. I think it was Cowboy coffee, because again, I wanted to make sure I had a nice bathroom to use before we actually left to start the trek back, because bathrooms out here can be very few and far between.
Yes, but I will give kudos to the folks at Jackson Hole for their public restroom on the north side of town. That was the one I frequented the most. So not to embarrass your mom and dad, but as I'm standing there just waiting to see if I was done or not, who strolls past but your mom and dad on their way to the bathroom? I'm not going to say anything more.
Okay. I think it's probably good that we just end that conversation right there.
It is, but it was obviously something we ate. So that's it. That's all I got.
Okay. And I think we need to, let's recap some of our food and beverage, even though we didn't make maybe the best choices today. But I have to say, one super excellent choice that I made this evening when we were at the supermarket here in West Yellowstone was I picked up a 6-pack of Big Sky Brewing. And you guys, some of you know that we love goats. And they had a Scapegoat Pale Ale. And I'm going to give that 2 big thumbs up.
There's one sitting right here in the little cup holder between us as we speak.
There might be. There might be half of one at this point. And also, when we were in Jackson Hole today, we ate at a place called the Bunnery. Fabulous. I had the omelet with bacon and cheese. And Beth, I'm going to let you tell them about the toast because you seemed so enamored with it.
It looked like a house. It was cute. It was really cute. But in retrospect, gluten, shouldn't have done it. But didn't you think it looked like a little house with a little roof on it?
It was super cute.
It was cute. It was tasty too.
Super cute.
Until it wasn't tasty.
Super cute and super yummy. And Beth, the big question I have for you now after about a week in an RV is, do you still want to RV?
Oh, Jennifer, we that's been our goal for, I don't know how many last 5-10 years that's what we were going to do when I retired. And the big draw to that, of course, would be that we could take Ruby with us, not Kitty. She has to stay home. But I'll tell you, it's, there's just a lot to it. And I am really vacillating now on that decision because we've kind of gotten into this cool Airbnb thing. We've done it 3 times now, right? 4 times. Yeah. And they've all been really great experiences and very reasonable in price. And I think there's a lot to be said for, stimulating the economy in that fashion as well. So I don't know what we're going to have to do. And this is what I tell everybody when they got a big decision to make: sit down with a pad of paper, write pros and cons, and figure it out from that standpoint.
Do you have any concerns about me driving an RV?
How much time do we have on this podcast? Why, no, Jennifer. I don't want you to drive my car. Why would I be concerned about you driving an RV? Okay, here's the real ironic thing, and I can say it because he's not in the van anymore. Her dad was a driver's ed teacher and taught her to drive. So what happened?
Well, I might have scratched the car one day, pulling it into the garage when I was 16.
And tried to lie about it.
Yes, but I learned a lesson then that I'm a horrible liar, and that lesson has served me very well my entire life.
Yes, it has. You're right.
Okay, we are going to wrap this up now. But before we do that, I just want to thank you all for listening and commenting. You guys were lighting up Facebook today. And I've also gotten Beth to start doing Instagram stories. So if
I don't like that, but this is fun. I don't like that.
So if you are on Instagram, please follow me at Brassy Broad Jen, and then that way you can catch up with all of our Instagram shenanigans as well as this podcast. And thank you for playing on Facebook and commenting. And Beth,
yes,
it's time to pack it up and get rolling to our next destination, which will be Utah. So thank you for riding along with us on the Brassy Roadcast. And as I mentioned, follow our adventures on Instagram and Twitter at Brassy Broad Jen. And you can also like the Brassy Broadcast on Facebook. And if you know somebody that would enjoy our shenanigans, please press the share button. Thanks for listening. Now get out and explore the world around you.